Foremost, you just met Rafa in there, and I mean, he's great, but with everything that comes with that, what goes into bringing him up and the move with that?
Yeah, really excited to have him up here. The move, we optioned Figueroa back to Indy and got Flores up here. I think the thing that struck me, I'm sure maybe with you, I didn't realize how big he is, for catcher 6'4" when he came in, and the personality seemed really genuine, really personable, really cool to spend some time with him, get to talk to him, and we'll see him at first base and catcher. Not every day, he's not in there today, but he'll get some at bats.
Yeah, what is your early plan with him? I know you said like first and catcher, but when you have now 3 catchers essentially, I'm sure it might be a little more difficult to rotate him into that spot.
Yeah, again, just like the pitching, the defensive positions in the infield, and the guys just gonna be fluid as we go, and nothing completely set right now, but we'll see him at first and a catcher.
What excites you about what he can bring either behind the plate, at the plate, both?
Reports that we've gotten is a really good receiver and good at first base, and obviously the power that he's shown and the ability to hit is a huge asset for us.
Why was now the right time?
He's going to be protected in the offseason for sure, and to get him up here and get him the experience of being in the big leagues, the emotions that come with that, to be able to have 2 weeks here to get into the meetings, get into games, get that the firsts out of the way, so that and to be able to see what he can do here at the big league level. He's had a good year so far in AA, and then in AAA, especially at Indianapolis, has made some adjustments, and really excited to add him to the mix up here.
And not to get too far ahead of things, but assuming all goes well, would the intent be to have him go into spring training competing for a spot on the 26 man, or maybe even one of the spots for?
I think it's getting really far ahead, and something that I'm sure as we see him through these 2 weeks and have conversations in the off season to evaluate where we're at and where he's at, and certainly just want to see what he can do over these 2 weeks, get him acclimated, and see what the bat looks like in the box here at the major league level, and then we'll tackle the off season and next spring when we get there.
Is getting him acclimated a little bit more important because of his positioning, because he's a catcher and might benefit more from these 2 weeks than, say, someone who doesn't have such a demanding position?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a big part of it too. And when you're talking about the prep, the meetings, the relationships with the pitchers, 3:30 he's going to be out there catching Mitch in his bullpen, and then he's going to stay out there with Bubba. So just trying to get him to be able to see those guys too, because you're right, it's a really demanding position. It's a hard position to play when you talk about all the information and everything that comes along with it, and then building the relationships is a huge part of it as well.
You're a guy that played a lot of positions in your career. I mean, how do you see him adjusting to both positions and working towards, I guess, either figuring out where he wants to be most, or even just benefiting from playing at both positions going forward?
Yeah, it's difficult to do when and especially talking about catching as one of them, very demanding, and to get him acclimated to that and get up here and, first base, the reports have been that he's good over there and his hands are good, receives the ball really well catching, but really the most important thing is getting his bat up here and seeing him in the box being able to hit.
What are some of the things that he might need to polish up a little bit? I mean, not like it's perfect, but what are some of the things that are kind of like on his checklist?
Yeah, I think the approach at the plate as far as the swing and miss goes is something, but just continuing to gain the experience, see what pitchers are going to do to you, how they're going to attack you at the big league level, is part of that process that we're really looking for, is seeing him in the box and how he can make those adjustments.
Horwitz is about to eclipse 100 games in a Pirates uniform. Just broadly speaking, at first base, at the plate, just what have you made of his overall time and contributions?
Yeah, I think he's had a heck of a year. I mean, when you talk about, we've talked about the big trade coming over, and then he's hurt and not getting off to such a strong start, and the adjustments he's been able to make defensively, I think he's been phenomenal over there. Balls in the dirt, the play. Tree made a heck of a play yesterday, and for Spence to be able to wait and he made it look so easy, but to be able to stretch towards right field and go get that ball and make it look effortless. I mean, KY knows how hard that is to do, and he made it look easy. And I think that when you see what he's been able to do defensively, the adjustments he's made and the growth at the plate to slow things down and get back to, you know, using the whole field and driving the ball, that double that he had last night, he absolutely smoked it. Just really impressed with how he's been able to adjust throughout the season in a tough situation after a big trade and being hurt as well.
The circumstances you allude to, just being arguably the crown jewel of the offseason acquisitions, having his debut delayed, just do you think he had to deal with any added pressure on top of already added pressure of just getting here, getting settled, being a new guy in the clubhouse, and wanting to prove himself, given all the extra stuff?
There's no doubt that definitely adds to it, and I think that he's done a phenomenal job of handling that, you know, especially with the pressure of the trade, then you're hurt, and then not getting off to a good start, and being able to work into it, make the adjustments, continue to play good defense throughout. Just really impressed with what he's been able to do.
I know you might not have a plan for this yet, but Rafa told us that he's actually a Cubs fan, and that's the team he grew up rooting for. How cool would it be if he got to make his major league debut against them?
Yeah, that'd be really sick, and especially have a good game and hit the ball really well and stick it to them. That'd be really awesome. But yeah, that's cool that I didn't know that, so I'll be able to talk to him about that as well.
Would your plan be to throw Skenes on Sunday? I mean, was he on turn to do that against the A's, or I'm sure fans want to know?
I don't think that's a plan right now.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna be stretching guys out, and yeah, this will be his last home start.
Donnie, you guys obviously were pretty careful with him last time, and you know, monitoring him. Is the plan to sort of like, would he have the opportunity if the game presents itself to get back out to 80-90, or is it sort of like what we saw last week? Is that sort of how it's going to be as you try to get him healthy to the end of the season?
Yeah, game to game, and just monitor how today's game goes and see how he's feeling coming in out of the pen and everything. You know, going into it, hard to say specific pitch count, but I would say somewhere in that range we should see. But just depends on what goes on throughout the game and how he's doing. And we have our meeting after BP before the game starts.
Tony, it used to be teams could have 40 players in September, and I know managers and GMs hated having that many guys, but would you like to see maybe just a little bit bigger roster than 28 in September? Just so, you know, a team in your case, you're looking at guys now, you're trying to get an idea of what you might have going into spring training next year in the off season. Would you like to have maybe just a little bit more flexibility and have a few extra roster spots?
Interesting. It does make it difficult, you know, when we were talking about seeing guys and having to make decisions in September about, you know, even sending Peggy down. You know, it was tough. I mean, he's been here for however long. He's grown up a lot. He's matured a lot. He's a better baseball player now. And, you know, to make a decision to have to send him down when, you know, he has been a good teammate. He has gotten better. There are a lot of positive things that come with growth. He's only 24 years old, you know, that he's still got, you know, long baseball career ahead of him. It makes it difficult to do that. Would a couple roster spots help? They probably would in that case. Certainly not up to me, you know, to make that decision. And I do think that, you know, back in the day it was nice because I probably got called up a couple times because it was up to 40. You know, and it that is hard when you're dealing with, you know, a game with up to 40 guys. You know, it can lengthen the game out a lot, and it creates a lot of different things with that. So, you know, I think it would help with being able to see guys, but I'm glad that's not my decision to make.
How strong of a season Paul's had? I mean, what else do you want to see from him these
See
last
from Paul?
two? Yeah.
Man, Paul does what he does, and I just want Paul to be healthy and go out and compete and do pitch the way that Paul pitches.
I think he's 7 strikeouts away from tying 8 from passing Mitch's franchise record for right-handers. I think it's 210. How much would you like to see him do that today in front of PNC Park?
Well, I would love to see that. You know, I think that as Paul goes, you know, in his career, if it's today, that'd be great, and if not, like being his next start, he would get to it. Would be great to see it at home, but as good as he is, there's going to be a lot of records that Paul Skenes is going to be breaking as he goes.
Donnie, I have a random question. colleague of mine is working on a story that the home teams this year have their highest winning percentage since 2010. It's like 55%, I think it's the highest since then. You guys are sort of symbolic of that. You're pretty good here, and obviously you had your struggles on the road. Why do you think there might be such a disparity?
Man, I wish I knew. I wish I knew for us to be able to get better on the road. I mean, when you look at this last road trip, right? We lost the first 2 games in extra innings. It's really hard to win an extra inning game on the road, especially with the runner on second base, and we didn't do ourselves any favors by getting the guy over and getting the guy in. I think that it makes it difficult when you are on the road in those circumstances. You're playing for multiple runs most of the time, so that you can get up by multiple, and that runner on second doesn't mean as much. But even without the extra innings, it has been difficult for us, and it sounds like I haven't dug into the numbers. I'm not aware of what you're referencing, but historically it has been harder. It sounds like maybe even more so this year to win on the road.
Do you have the same access to everything that you have access to here? Do you have some semblance of access to that when you guys are on the road?
Semblance. I mean, here when you're at home, the cages are nicer, the home clubhouse, but for the most part, they've done a really good job of making everything that road teams have here at PNC is the same that we have when we go on the road.
So do you have I don't know, do you have a traject machine on the other?
No, not on the road.
So
But we would never have one, when we go on the road either.
You think that has something to do with it, maybe?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not really sure if that. I don't think the traject in and of itself.
Right.
And saying that, we need to figure out how to win on the road too, because you can't just win games at PNC and then expect to be where we want to get to. We have to find a way to be better on the road.
Thanks.